Tonight on Game Plan.
It's a good win. It's gonna feel real good on the plane.
The Saints have conquered their slow start demons and now look to secure a winning record for the first time since 2013.
To get to 3-2, to get on the winning side of things would be great.
We'll discuss the Saints' navigation of the road to London and what lies ahead with Jeff Duncan. Plus,
Cutler going to throw the fade, and it's going to be intercepted in the end zone by Ken Crawley.
Sean Vazan breaks down the film on the Saints' newest prospect at cornerback. And Chris Hagan takes a look around the league at who is ready for breakout performances.
From Fox 8 Sports, this is Game Plan. Sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealer, built Ford tough. And the 2017 Nissan Titan with America's best bumper-to-bumper limited truck warranty, Nissan Titan. Take on any job.
It may not be perfect, but it's a whole lot better than they've done the past 3 years, Sean. The Saints finished the first quarter of the season and roll into the bye week, 2-2. Welcome to Game Plan with Sean Vazan. I'm Juan Kincaid.
But remember, Juan, the NFL is a week-to-week life. Just like it's not smart to get too low after a loss, it's also not good to get too high after a win. Kenny Vaccaro knows there's still plenty of football left to play.
Yeah, it feels good. I think it definitely breeds confidence, but like I've been preaching last week, we got to keep being consistent. Since I've been here the last 3 or 4 years, we get back to 500, then we drop one, and get back to 500. So, I mean, it's a good win. It's gonna feel real good on the plane, but all I can think about is getting to this film and correcting ourselves, because I don't want to look ahead. I don't want to start feeling ourselves at all, because we don't deserve it yet.
For the Saints, it's all about what happens after they get themselves to even. In the last 3 years, it has not been good. In 2014, once getting to 4-4, they went 1-3 in the next 4 games. In 2015, after getting to 4-4, they went 0-4 the next 4 games. And last year, once they got back to 4-4, they went 1-3. Point being, now is not the time to get comfortable with where they are. For now, though, the vibe is good. How could it not be? The Saints have won 2 straight games and got their first shutout since 2012.
Hard to believe it's been that long. Wow. It was a successful trip across the pond because ultimately the Saints accomplished their #1 goal. The Saints went to London with a clear game plan, and it began with maximizing their time in the capital city.
I think just the plan and knowing what to expect, and then the way that we could communicate that, the way that Sean could communicate that, and the coaching staff. Listen, these facilities are great. You know, they're better than what we had when we were here the first time. Again, I think we just had a really good plan coming into this, having done it before.
Their plan, arriving early, being there all week, getting accustomed to the playing conditions. It paid off. Just ask the Miami Dolphins, who didn't arrive until Friday, and they looked like a team still trying to adjust on game day. Granted, both teams looked sluggish in the first 30 minutes, but the fresher legs and fresher team prevailed over the final 30 minutes.
You've heard me say it before, and Bill said it to me a number of times. It doesn't have to be aesthetically pleasing to be effective. And I thought it's important that we understand how the game's being played on offense, no different than how we would want the defense to understand the way the game's being played. And I thought ball security was going to be key in the game. We won that turnover battle again.
That last word, again, is a big reason why the Saints are now 2-2 and feeling like they've been given a fresh start. Ken Crawley's end zone interception on the Dolphins' first drive of the game not only gave the team back-to-back games with a forced turnover and the team's 4th INT in the past 2 weeks, but it set the tone for how this game would be played by the Saints defense.
Hopefully it's a combination of, the guys paying attention to it. It generally wins games, and certainly as that game wore on, every one of those players needed to understand the significance of not giving them an opportunity back in the game. So we took care of it again. I was pleased.
It was the kind of game plan that wasn't drawn up before kickoff, but perhaps drawn up in the sand of the locker room. When the Saints needed to change their approach to beating Miami, they called on their leader, Drew Brees, to take what the Dolphins were giving them.
So whatever it takes to win. Obviously we love big plays. I would consider us a big play offense, and yet we know when we get into games where I felt like their mindset was to keep it in front of them. You could tell that very early on, and so I think we knew that we were going to have to be pretty methodical, very efficient in both the run game and the pass game. Completions, 2- and 3-yard runs at times are a good thing to get yourself into third manageable. Felt like we were, really good on third down today. Kept drives alive.
And it helped that he had this rookie to hand it off and throw it to. Alvin Kamara, also referred to as the next Reggie Bush or Darren Sproles. But this turned out to be his coming out game. So we're just going to call him the next because Kamara is proving to be the kind of weapon this team's been searching for years now.
So I'm getting more and more comfortable, like I said, with Drew and AD and Mark just pushing me and being able to be comfortable and understand like the smaller things in the offense. I mean, it's really helping.
And in turn, he's really helping this offense evolve. The days of this offense putting up 35+ on any given Sunday may be a thing of the past. But we saw in London that this team can win in different ways, more traditional ways. It's their recipe for success right now, and perhaps down the road as well.
The formula is there. We just got to keep trusting that formula and that process. And go on the road, get a big win at Carolina, and then come on the road here and get a big win in London. We'll get that much-needed bye week, to get this jet lag out of our system and refocus and get ready for Detroit.
The bad news from the team's trip to London, 2 of their key starters may have been lost for the entire season. Zach Street with a right knee injury, Alex Anzalone with a shoulder injury. Both players, Sean, have been placed on injury reserve. 2 tough losses for this team. We'll see how they recover.
It's always the unknown a team really has no control over. Still to come on Game Plan, Ken Crawley played every single snap on Sunday. So how did he grade out on film? We'll have an extensive look next.
From Fox 8 Sports, you're watching Game Plan. Sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealer, built Ford tough. And the 2017 Nissan Titan with America's best bumper-to-bumper limited truck warranty, Nissan Titan. Take on any job.
Before Sunday's start in London, we learned that cornerback P.J. Williams was being disciplined. That led to Ken Crawley starting in his place.
No doubt the move worked out just fine as Crawley was challenged by Miami, and he rose to the occasion. Ken Crawley's Sunday in London was good. He played every single defensive snap, and his day got active early. Of course, he had the big interception, which stole Miami's early momentum. After the game, he attributed that to film study. Our own film study backs that up. As soon as Julius Thomas lined up solo on his side with an empty backfield and Jake Cutler under center, he knew the fade was coming. On the snap, Crawley essentially ran Thomas's route for him to make the easy interception. But before that, Crawley struggled a bit with wide receiver Devontae Parker. Parker beat Crawley on 2 separate in cuts. The first allowed Parker a 15-yard gain after Parker just simply broke away from him. The second, Crawley was in better position, but Cutler placed the ball perfectly, and Parker's big body shielded Crawley from making a play. All 3 catches that Crawley allowed on the day were to Parker. But he did get the best of him in the second quarter when Parker tried to run a comeback route. Crawley did an excellent job of using his hands on Parker and maintained his balance when Parker stopped his route. From there, he located the ball and nearly had his second interception of the day. Crawley also aided in run support on Sunday, and with him now contributing, the Saints appear to be pretty deep at cornerback, even with the injury to Delvin Breaux.
Deep at cornerback is not something the Saints are used to, but they could surely get used to being that. Meanwhile, the entire trip to London was ultimately a success because the Saints won the game. But culturally speaking, the experience of being in one of the world's most amazing cities is something that's not lost on any of us.
Welcome to the United Kingdom. Along with Juan Kincaid, I am Garland Gillen. We're standing next to the world-famous London Eye on the River Thames.
We're coming to you from the Mayfair district and the Beaumont Hotel because this is where New Orleans has arrived.
It's a beautiful bread pudding. It's a tradition of New Orleans.
London is mainly a drinking culture. So we want to bring a bit of the New Orleans vibe over to here, keep the people happy and let them try something new.
We're really blessed with a great food scene and great, spirit of pregame.
Many of the Saints fans that are here tonight, they were also here back in 2008. Wembley Stadium had about 84,000 fans for the game. Not a sellout, but from pure sound alone, Saints fans were there in large numbers, which gave the black and gold a distinct home field advantage, even though it was officially a home game for the Dolphins. They came out in big numbers.
And you know there were a lot of happy Houdass because ultimately the Saints got what they came for, which was a win.
That's right.
Still to come on Game Plan, the Saints are at the quarter turn of their season. So what's good about this team and what still needs some fixing? Jeff Duncan of NOLA.com, the Times Picayune, joins us in studio next to break it all down.
From Fox 8 Sports, you're watching Game Plan. Sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealer, built Ford tough. And the 2017 Nissan Titan with America's best bumper-to-bumper limited truck warranty, Nissan Titan. Take on any job.
Always nice to welcome in Jeff Duncan, a columnist from NOLA.com and Times Picayune. Of course, he covers the Saints on a daily basis, and Duncan Holder on the radio as well. When you look at this team's overall performance and how they are and where they are after 4 weeks of football, what do you think?
Well, look, I think they have to feel good about themselves after the way they started, 0-2. 2-2 after these 4 games, considering the strength of that schedule. I think they feel like they're in the mix. No one's running away with the NFC South. Right now, they're just a game out of first place, but it's clear that this is going to be one of the most competitive divisions in football. And I think at the end of the year, that win in Carolina is going to loom large. That's going to end up being a very big win for them.
I just think from a peace of mind standpoint, it's got to feel good to not be in an early season hole. Let's make no mistake about it. 2-2, you're not going to throw a parade over a 2-2 record because they're only 2-2. But to not be 1-3 or 0-4 and have the peace of mind to not have to dig yourself out of an early season hole, this organization has experienced that since 2013. I think that's got to feel good for this team. So rightly so, they're confident right now, but I would caution, just like it's important to not get too low when you're down. Don't get too high when you're up because you're only 2-2, and it's only a game away, but it is still last place in the NFC South.
And you've got some good teams coming up in Detroit and Green Bay. They will test that defense. A couple questions from the Final Play app. One is talking about the defense from Carlos in Laplace. He says, do you think this defense is for real or a fluke?
I think there's some things that are real about it. I still think there's a little bit of issue. I'm not completely convinced yet of the pass rush. It's gotten better, but what is promising and which is, I think, is very real is the fact there's no more coverage breakdowns in the secondary. You saw that the first 2 weeks of the season. I think that's been the catalyst for just about everything on defense right now. There's no busted plays, at least to catastrophes on that side of the ball. So I think they're getting better, and we've always said middle of the pack. I checked the stats in every category with the exception of, I believe, passing yards. They're in the middle of the pack defensively. So I think overall they're playing well. And look, and they're getting takeaways. And you see what happens when this offense has a defense that gives them some takeaways.
And not giving it away. But Kenny Vaccaro said something interesting after the game against Miami. He said, you know, we knew that Cutler wanted to dump it down. We were determined not to let them go deep. They had guys running deep patterns, but we weren't going to let them throw deep. That's kind of a different mentality, isn't it?
Yeah, and I tell you, they've done a great job on the back end, kind of crisis management. Losing Delvin Breaux to start the year, losing Sterling Moore. They were kind of shifting around, trying to find some answers there, and I think they found them. You know, Sean alluded to that, the fact that they're producing takeaways. We haven't seen that out of the secondary in a long time here, and as long as this offense continues to play smart the way they are, no turnovers, and you win that turnover battle, they only need 1 or 2 a game to give that ball to Drew Brees. I think this team is trending in the right direction.
Another question from our Final Play app, this one also about the defense from Travis in Laplace. He says, should Ken Crawley be the starter throughout the remainder of the year? And I remember Jim Henderson talking about this over the last 2 games. Why has this kid not been in the lineup anyway instead of Devontae Harris was in there? But should he be the starter for the rest of the year? Is it too early?
No, I think it's too early because Delvin Breaux is going to come back to this team soon, and I think your starters should be Delvin Breaux and Marshawn Lattimore.
But hang on, if Ken Crawley's playing as well as he has, do you just take him out of the starting lineup? Because you don't know what you're going to
play Delvin Breaux, yes. But, I mean, you're going to play 3 corners regardless, and it's a good problem to have right now. I mean, I don't think they've had 3 corners playing at this high a level in a long time with Crawley. And, look, P.J. Williams is a guy that I think has shown ability. If he's your 4th corner, that's the best situation they've had at cornerback since I've been here.
Whether or not he starts or not, I don't know if that's who knows, but he's going to be a contributor. Ken Crawley is clearly better than Devontae Harris. And in that game, I don't know if you saw this, Jeff, They played 3 safeties the entire game. They did not use that third corner the entire game, which is new for this season. So I think King Crawley gets into the rotation. If Delvin Breaux comes back, he's going to work his way back into the starting lineup. King Crawley is not necessarily set up for the nickel back just because he's better on the outside. He guards routes better on the outside as opposed to the inside. But as long as he's in the regular rotation, and you bring back P.J. Williams, you obviously bring back Sterling Moore. You have Marshawn Lattimore, who's playing like one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL. I think you're set at that position. So Crawley deserves to be in the rotation, yes. Whether or not he's a starter, we'll see.
The only time P.J. Williams got on the field in London was as special teams, and he had 2 holding penalties. They want to change that. All right, so the big question, the big elephant in the room, what should this team do with Adrian Peterson?
Look, I've said this before, I'll say it again. He got 4 carries in London. Now, in a previous life, 4 carries is normally the 9th or 10th offensive play for him. So it took it all game to get 4 carries. And normally when he's at his 4th carry, he's just getting going. He's ready to start rolling. He's about to take over the game. That'll never happen here in New Orleans. He's not going to get that amount of touches. He's not really a threat catching the football. He's okay in pass protection. But for what you're paying him and what you're asking him to do, name a running back, and they can probably give you the same amount of production. So if I'm the Saints, I'm listening to phone calls from a running back needy team. If you can get a 6th, a 5th, 7th round pick, I might pull the trigger on that deal. I wouldn't cut him, but look, I think we know how Adrian Peterson fits in this offense, and it's not a great fit at all.
To me, it felt like when they brought him in the game in London, it was almost like a charity case thing. Let's get this guy on the field. Let's not show that we've forgotten about him, but it's a clear pecking order here.
No, there's no doubt. Mark Ingram's the lead back on this team.
And deservedly so.
Deservedly so, and Alvin Kamara is the satellite back, the 3rd down nickel offense back. And right now, Adrian Peterson looks like a 30-something-year-old running back that's had knee injuries. He looks like a guy that lacks lateral agility and explosion in and out of his cuts. And I'm not sure what they're going to do with him going forward other than keeping him in this kind of backup role. And I don't even know if he's as productive as Tim Hightower was when he was here in that same role. But Adrian Peterson's got to buy in because this train is moving forward without him. He's either going to be a good role player for this team, or they may move on without him somewhere along the line if he becomes a problem.
So they've still got Atlanta twice, Tampa Bay twice, and the Panthers one more time. Can this team win the NFC South? I know it's up for grabs right now. There's some good teams there, though.
Well, we have to wait and see how they get through these next 2 games. I really think these next 2 games, we're going to know what this team is. I don't think they're as bad as they looked in the first 2 weeks, and I think they're probably not quite as good as they've looked the last 2 weeks because the competition, I think, wasn't as strong the last 2 weeks. But these next 2 games, Detroit at home and Green Bay, we're going to know a lot about this defense. We're going to know if this team can contend with what I think are the elite teams in the NFC, because I think both those teams, Green Bay and Detroit, will be in the mix come December in the NFC race.
Yeah, I mean, the next 4 games, and you said 2, I think the next 4 games, quite frankly, this next quarter of the season, how they respond to starting the season 2-2 will be crucial. Are they a good enough team to win the NFC South? I can't say that yet. Look, they beat Carolina, but they were injured, banged up. There was a lot of injuries in that game. Are they better than Atlanta? I don't know. Are they better than Tampa Bay? I don't know. But I do know it's sure good to be sitting here at 2-2 asking these questions as opposed to 1-3 and 0-4 in dead last and 2 and 3 games out of first place. So I think they can compete. Can they contend? We'll see.
And, of course, all the guys to a man in the locker room on Sunday said they wish this bye week would come a little bit later in the season. He's Jeff Duncan from NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune. Jeff, thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Still to come, bye weeks are a constant all across the NFL. Chris Hagan shares insight on how to handle the inactivity in fantasy football when we come back.
From Fox 8 Sports, you're watching Game Plan. Sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealer, built Ford tough. And the 2017 Nissan Titan with America's best bumper-to-bumper limited truck warranty, Nissan Titan. Take on any job.
Time now for keys to the game, and so far the Saints' results have been dictated by their 3rd down efficiency. In the first 2 games, they were converting about 1 in 3, but the last 2 games have seen the offense get back to their usual rate of getting a first down on half of their attempts. That percentage has been good enough to lead the NFL each of the last 3 seasons. Bye weeks are a constant in the NFL, which means for your fantasy football roster, you may have to adjust your strategy to get a win.
Gotta get the strategy down, Juan. That includes scanning the waiver wire, where some hidden gems could be waiting. Chris Hagan tells us who to look for in his latest Extra Point.
The first set of bye weeks are upon us, and on top of some unfortunate injuries, your fantasy football team could be in a world of trouble. But have no fear, because this week is probably one of the most fruitful for waiver wire pickups. At the top of the list is quarterback Deshaun Watson, and for good reason. He's proven that he's not a fluke, putting up big numbers in New England and then pounding the Titans into submission last week at home. He led the Texans to 57 points with a 5-touchdown day and spread the ball around in the process. We could be seeing a sleeping fantasy football giant come alive. At running back, at least around New Orleans, it'll be hard to pick up Alvin Kamara. He was most likely drafted in local leagues. However, might I suggest Packers running back Aaron Jones, who's set to replace Ty Montgomery. The Packers running back is a touchdown-rich position, and especially in PPR leagues, you're looking at double-digit points just about every week from the Green Bay backfield. Another obvious one, Latavius Murray of the Vikings. With running back Dalvin Cook out the rest of the season, he and/or Jerick McKinnon will shoulder the load. My sleeping giant is Cincinnati tight end Tyler Kroft. At this point, I think it's safe to drop the often injured Tyler Eifert and go with Kroft, who caught 2 touchdowns last week in his place. I also saw Chargers tight end Hunter Henry dropped in a few leagues after a couple of scoreless weeks, so if you're in need of a tight end temporarily, that's another place you might be able to get some instant production. As far as defenses, the Lions are technically the #1 squad in terms of fantasy points and only owned in 34% of ESPN leagues. But they've had a very favorable schedule so far with Arizona, the Giants, and Minnesota. Their next few games are Panthers, Saints, Steelers, and Green Bay, which bring more firepower. I'd hold off on picking up Detroit just yet. For deeper leagues where you need a deep sleeper, I like Houston's Will Fuller at wide receiver next week against Kansas City, while lockdown corner Marcus Peters hangs all over DeAndre Hopkins. There's also Jets running back and former Raging Cajun Elijah McGuire, who found the end zone for the first time last week against the Jaguars. Giving you the leg up on the fantasy football competition, I'm Chris Hagan.
No Saints this Sunday, but you can scout out their next opponent, the Lions, as they take on the Panthers at noon. And the Week 7 opponent, Green Bay, plays host to the Cowboys at 3:25.
And be sure to tune in for Fox 8 Football Friday at 10:35 as Chris Hagan and I take you around the state for all the great prep action here in Louisiana. Until then, thank you for watching Game Plan. And thanks to everyone here at Fox 8 for their contributions. Our next newscast is at 4:30 in the morning. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
From Fox 8 Sports, this has been Game Plan, sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealer.